What is stress and stress management? Stress is constraining force or influence, such as a force exerted when one body or body part presses on, pulls on, pushes against, or tends to compress or twist another body or body part, especially the intensity of this mutual force commonly expressed in pounds per square inch. The deformation caused in a body by such a force, a physical, chemical, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension and may be a factor in disease causation. A state resulting from a stress, especially one of the bodily or mental tension resulting from factors that tend to alter an existent equilibrium. Stress management is ways to deal with stress. Stress in the classroom. Stress in students can negatively impact brain function in critical areas related to motivation, memory, learning, judgment, and behavior and emotional control. Teens who experience stress often have family and social issues, poor academic performance, health related problems, including mental health and behavioral issues at home and school. Social emotional learning and stress. Stress affects social and emotional learning in many different ways. When adolescents experience stress, they can withdraw from family, they may discontinue activities they used to engage in, they may distance themselves from their friends and may change friends. Intervention 1. Stress is one way that our bodies respond to the day to day struggles and demands of life. A little bit of stress can be healthy. It keeps us alert and productive. However, when we experience too much stress, it can result in serious physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms. Physical: asthma, headaches, migraines, back pain, sweating, nausea, indigestion, chest pain, and fatigue. Emotional: worry, irritability, anger, loss of motivation, difficulty concentrating, mood instability, and memory problems. And behavioral: nail biting, consistent thoughts about stressors, restlessness, teeth grinding, disrupted sleep, diet, and exercise, interpersonal conflict, social withdrawal, substance use, and procrastination. Intervention 2. Coloring mandalas are a great way to help relieve stress. Intervention 1. Stress management tips. Keep in mind that stress isn't a bad thing. Stress motivates us to work towards solving our problems. Reframing thoughts to view stress as an acceptable emotion or as a tool has been found to reduce many of the negative symptoms associated with it. The goal is to manage stress, not eliminate it. Talk about your problems, even if they won't be solved. Talking about your stressors, even if you don't solve them, releases hormones in your body that reduce the negative feelings associated with stress. Time spent talking with friends and loved ones is valuable, even when you have a lot on your plate. Prioritize your intervention 2. Imagery. Think about some of your favorite and least favorite places. If you think about the place hard enough, if you really try to think about what it's like, You may begin to have feelings you associate with that location. Our brain has the ability to create emotional reactions based entirely off of our thoughts. The imaginary technique uses this to our advantage. Make sure you're somewhere quiet without too much noise or distraction. You'll need a few minutes to just spend quietly in your mind. Think of a place that's calming for you. Some examples are the beach, hiking on a mountain, relaxing at home with a friend, or playing with a pet. Paint a picture of the calming place in your mind. Don't just think of the place briefly, imagine every little detail. Go through each of your senses and imagine what you would experience in your relaxing place. Here's an example using a beach. Sight. The sun is high in the sky and you're surrounded by white sand. There's no one else around. The water is a greenish blue and waves are calmly rolling in from the ocean. Sound. You can hear the deep pounding and splashing of the waves. There are seagulls somewhere in the background. Touch. The sun is warm on your back, but a breeze cools you down just enough. You can feel sand moving between your toes. Taste. You have a glass of lemonade that's sweet, tart, and refreshing. And smell. You can smell the fresh ocean air full of salt and calming aromas. Intervention 1. Stress management tips. Keep in mind that stress isn't a bad thing. Stress motivates us to work towards solving our problems. Reframing thoughts to view stress as an acceptable emotion or as a tool has been found to reduce many of the negative symptoms associated with it. The goal is to manage stress, not eliminate it. Talk about your problems, even if they won't be solved. Talking about your stressors, even if you don't solve them, releases hormones in your body that reduce the negative feelings associated with stress. Time spent talking with friends and loved ones is valuable, even when you have a lot on your plate. Prioritize your responsibilities. Focus on completing quick tasks first. Having too many to-dos can be stressful, even if none of them are very big. Quickly knocking out the small tasks will clear up your mind to focus on larger responsibilities. Focus on the basics. Stress can start a harmful cycle where basic needs are neglected, which leads to more stress. Make a point to focus on your basic needs, such as eating, keeping a healthy sleep schedule, exercising, and other forms of self-care. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. People who are over-involved in one aspect of their life often struggle to deal with stress when that area is threatened. Balance your time and energy between several areas such as your career, family, friendships, and personal hobbies. Set aside time for yourself. Personal time usually gets moved to the bottom of the list when things get hectic. However, when personal time is neglected, everything else tends to suffer. Set aside time to relax and have fun every day without interruptions. Keep things in perspective. In the heat of the moment, little problems can feel bigger than they are. Take a step back and think about how important your stressors are in a broader context. Will they matter in a week? In a year? Write about your stressors will help you develop a healthier perspective. Intervention 2. Progressive muscle relaxation. During the fight or flight response, the tension in our muscles increases. This can lead to a feeling of stiffness or even back and neck pain. Progressive muscle relaxation teaches us to become more aware of this tension so we can better identify and address stress. Find a private and quiet location. You should sit or lie down somewhere comfortable. The idea of this technique is to intentionally tense each muscle and then to release the tension. Let's practice with your feet. Start by tensing the muscles in your toes by curling them into your foot. Notice how it feels when your foot is tense. Hold the tension for 5 seconds. Release the tension from your toes. Let them relax. Notice how your toes feel differently after you've released the tension. Tense the muscles all throughout your calf. Hold it for 5 seconds. Notice how long the feeling of tension feels in your legs. Release the tension from your calf and notice how the feeling of relaxation differs. Follow this pattern of tensing and releasing tension all throughout your body. After you finish with your feet and legs, move up through your torso, arms, head, hands, neck, and head.